All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here for a brand new week inside our live trading room this Monday, April 24th, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Jeff, Lawrence, Bill, Kathleen, and Andrea, and all of us live inside our live trading room, including Phil. Great to see them as always. Hope everybody enjoyed the weekend. With that said, here for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., you could tell by the voice, this is not Fausto Pugliese. Once again, Josh Levitan here, tagging in for Fausto. He's actually in Las Vegas. I told him to throw 20 on blackjack for me. But aside from that, though, he's actually at the big Trade Thirsty event in Las Vegas. So, I know that he is there for the next couple of days. If you are FTA from the area, definitely be on the lookout for that. But with that said, though, Getty. I mean, hey, nice little pop-up just before. I was down a tiny bit on the pre-market. I took like a few different break-even, small trades, and not like death by 1,000 paper cuts, but they start to add up a little bit. Well, I turned over to Getty, and that was moving up a little bit, and then it moved up a lot. So up on the morning, ended up being great here off the 750 level, really the VWAP. Let me zoom out on the chart here, and I'll break open level 4. So here, this is the MGRX. Let me switch back to Getty. So just a moment ago, we ended up seeing Getty pop at 8:30. I ended up missing the initial pop off the news, and we'll check out the news for this trade in just a moment. But nevertheless, dumped back down. I missed out on that part. I missed out on the iceberg that popped up at $7. I think it was for about like however much it was, 25,000 shares roughly. All right, well, that generates good support, but if that gets pulled, it could certainly sink lower. It might chop around there a bit. I wasn't watching it at the time. Where I was watching it was right around 745, 750. Notice the buildup of volume here from consolidation. So that's when I first had noticed Getty, and from the level, really, I was saying, all right, well, if it could just move over that, there's not much resistance in sight. So if the stars align, maybe we could see 8. Hell, we obviously saw a lot higher. Ended up pumping all the way up towards a high here at the time, just under 860. I ended up getting out at 790 and then at 811 or 812 there in the second half. So left some money on the table. Either way, it was nice to at least flip this into a profit and up on the morning so far. So Getty, nice trade. While I have it up here, level 4, we'll go over a couple of the other movers that we caught from pre-market early this morning. After 8 o'clock, this was not on the pre-market list per se, but MGRX ended up having a big squeeze up at first. This stock ended up running for us last week. So I was hopeful to see a higher high on this. It was actually a very similar pattern as to the Getty trade that I made money on. I was looking for the breakout off of like 172, 173-ish here at the time, and it just wasn't budging. So I ended up taking a 3-cent loss on this one, dumped back down. Now at this point, I'm not really too thrilled about putting this on our main watch list. Getty, right away, I'll put that on our main list, but the MGRX, not as much. TMPO, TMPO. Let me go back to my regular chart for right now, and then we'll kind of do our normal scan through. But TMPO, another one from pre-market. We were hopeful to see a better trade on this. Just didn't really give us much of anything after 8 o'clock. So at that point, we were looking for it to flip 145 into support. 144, 145, just right here is holding pretty nicely. Resistance should become support after 8 o'clock. It broke under and over, and I took a couple of different trades on this, like a break even, then a -2, and just wasn't giving me what I wanted, right? So I'm happy I moved away from this trade. As far as putting this on the main watch list, I mean, hey, it's up 97%. So I'm sure a lot of eyes will be on this trade leading into the open, but that doesn't always guarantee a larger move afterwards. So let me actually check the float on this stock if I could. Uh-oh. Might have to go to Benzinga for that. You know it's bad when TradeStation doesn't even list the damn float for the stock. So, really quick if I could. I'm pretty interested. What's like the news out on Tempo? What's the float and all that good stuff? All right, so float is about 16 million shares, so that's not terrible. We've seen much lower. We don't like trading too low, so that actually isn't terrible. That 27 million shares outstanding. It's really not trading too high over that or near that as much just yet. All right, so you know what? I'll put this on our main list in hopes of this making a better move after 9:30. Let me just double check the news out on this trade, if anything. Got my Benzinga Pro up right now. All right, well, this might explain a little something here. There's really not much news out on the stock. Looks like, if anything, Tempo Automation recently entered into a definitive agreement to acquire a company, but there's no specific news headline out from this morning that I saw. So, hey, we'll put it on our list. Just be pretty careful about this trade, though. There's not too much known about the stock otherwise, and you could see from March into April, the stock was tanking. So history does have a tendency to repeat itself. So look at what it's doing here even. I was saying it earlier in the chat board. If it can't hold over 144, 145, it could lead to a potential total dump off. So, hey, be careful there. I'll put this on our main list in hopes of, a higher low, or hey, if it dumps off all the way down, then maybe eventually around 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time, later in the morning, then we can get a better bounce. That's a possibility. All right, so with that, let me jump back to Getty while I have Benzinga Pro up here pretty quickly. Let me just get the news out on the stock GETY Getty. If you're familiar with all of like the HD quality pictures, that you see from all like the celebrities, sporting events, life in general, it's all Getty, like kind of like associated with the AP there. Getty Images shares are trading higher after Trillium Capital issued a proposal to acquire the company for $10 per share. So it's a proposal. It's not an official buyout just yet. That's the key to this trade. If it was a completed transaction, if it was an official buyout, then this would be a lot more flat than what it's actually currently doing here. So I'll keep this on our list, even though it's kind of affiliated to a buyout, but it's not made official yet. Buy the rumor, sell the news, right? All right, so with that said, let's just go from top to bottom. We have a couple on our list so far. I know that INAB we had called out earlier, making a much better pop right now. Nice. All right, so this just broke off the highs from like 160, 165-ish, running up about 25, 30 cents higher already. Is anyone in on this trade inside our live trading room? Chuck, are you in on this trade, the INAB, or anyone else inside our live trading room? Hey, it's not just Getty that made a little move for us earlier, folks. Hey, could have taken part on this one. Jim in on this one. Chuck, an astounding yes, in from 157. Don't want to distract him at this point. All right, so we got a couple of us. Nice. Definitely, I'll put this on our main watch list right now. If you're new to C2, then I might just say that we follow the smart money. We follow the big money. We don't really rely too much on news as to why a stock is up or down so much. This will be the last one I get the news on. I'm not newsman today, but INAB shares trading higher after the company announced new data from the phase 1 study in leukemia patients. So, hey, positive headline there, led to a good reaction. The only thing I would say is just that with phase 1 news, there's a lot more to it than that. There's going to be follow-up studies on this as they go into phase 2, as they go into phase 3, then potential final FDA approval. I'm no pharmacist, but that's at least all I know. So, yeah, nice move up to $2. What I also do know, folks, is actually on top of saying that, I mean, this goes for any trade. Stocks don't get halted in pre-market off of volatility. They'll get halted because of news if it comes out, and if the company needs to halt the stock because of impending news. But otherwise, though, if this keeps pumping up, you don't need to worry about a volatility halt. Now, the more it pumps up, you would expect for it to pull back and tank. People take profits around 9:15 in the morning coming up, or even earlier. $2 is typically a historical level, so that could be a good area to take profits, right? All right, what else we got here, though? Otherwise, ACON. I saw Jeff make some money on this trade. He had a pretty sweet entry early in the morning after 8 o'clock off the price 120. He nailed this, actually. Wow. So he was in right from 120. Maybe it was like 123. I got to read the chat there, but pretty good entry from Jeff H., one of our platinum students. And he got out at 140. So really good exit on top. Leading to a pullback here. So kind of the same type of move here as we were getting what was it on the TMPO, right? I'm not too thrilled about that. So you know what? Hey, I'll put it on the list kind of towards the bottom, but let's find something moving in better direction going up. All right, NXPL here moving up, I guess. Let's also look for something with better liquidity too. This could do it. HOLO, HOLO, prior to 8 o'clock, this had a huge move up and down. So I was hopeful to see better action after the 8 o'clock move. We really didn't get it, but ended up pulling back to a low of like 304, 305 and bounced So, hey, nice little recent trend up, back up right now. I'm sure this will fill in a little bit more once the market opens here. So, yeah, I'll put HOLO on our list. All right, what else we got here, though? I mean, I see a lot of cheapies here. We don't really want to have like all these like stocks that are like small cap on our watch list. If anything, we got to kind of be specific and pick through them. At least if anything, this one, SOUN Cheapy, we're pretty familiar with. It's an AI company. So this one's up a little bit this morning. Stock AI itself is down over 7.5% right now. It was down more earlier in pre-market, held off support pretty nicely actually here. One last time, I'll bring up my level 4. I ended up noticing this iceberg earlier this morning, roughly off of 1830. So held pretty nicely just a moment ago, back up to the VWAP and held that as resistance. Hey, this stock will move pretty nicely today. It's down big, so if you could short it, I'll put it on the watch list for those that could look to try and look for a lower low. Now, with that in mind, perhaps around 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time, for as much as this stock had dropped from the end of last week, and I mean, I guess if you want to include this year, perhaps you could look for a small bounce around that time, around that 10:15, 10:30 area. So that's something to think about. BBAI, GFAI, SAI, all these other AI companies, they're not doing anything right now. So I'm going to put these two on, SOUN and AI, and we'll keep going. All right, IBRX trying to move back up again for a second day in a row, and really the last week or two has been pretty nice on the swing side. Nice bounce back up. Viru, a little pop earlier, but flat now. All right, now we're below 5% actually here, folks. So let me hop over to the losers list right now, seeing if there's anything good from that side. A couple of housekeeping notes, but just before we finish up, at least for all of us collectively, students and social media members alike. Bed Bath Beyond, for as much as this dropped off once again into the morning here, I think they ended up officially closing stores, or they're officially declaring bankruptcy. I thought that they already did that from last week. No. So what's like the specific headline here? Trading lower after the company has officially filed Chapter 11. I thought they did that already. So either way, led to a big drop off this morning, trying to squeeze back up a bit. We're not trading this, folks. I mean, it's a penny stock, so to say. It's not a bulletin board, OTCBB, but otherwise, this is just. I mean, hey, it's going to be at some point, but it's still a Nasdaq National. It's just that we're not going to trade the stock. It's below $1. Normally, don't look to trade stocks below $1. All right, SMCI, normally don't look to trade stocks, $95 a share, but Super Micro Computer led to a big drop this morning. Really nice, pretty downtrend right now off the recent highs, or off the recent just candles altogether. But yeah, the order book is just very bad on this one. If it was even remotely more filled in, I would actually put this on our main list. If it fills in more after the open, then I'll give it a shout. But right now, I'll pass. Hey, if AMD was looking like this, I would put this on the top of our watch list there. But all right, folks, let me know if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5% that you'd want me to check out. I really didn't find much on the losers list there. That's all I got. Now, a couple housekeeping notes just before we wrap up. For all of us in social, really quickly, we're actually going to be conducting our Traders Talk workshop. That'll be exclusive inside our live trading room. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there. If you have any questions before joining us, though, feel free to shoot me a quick email as I tag in for Fausto here throughout this week in the mornings. At the end of these meetings, I always like to post my email at the end, josh@ctutrading.com. Just if you join me in the afternoon, hey, I'll catch you later. But any questions that you have, feel free to shoot me a quick email on top. But otherwise, for all of us inside the trading room right now, Chuck, Jim, John, Brian, Beth, Kathleen, Leda, and all of us there live, we have class coming up this morning as well. So at the end of our audio commentary this morning at 10:30 Eastern time, we're going to be beginning the Phase 1 curriculum again, just so you folks know. So this month in April, in the Phase 1 course, we're going to be talking all about scanning, tradable, not tradable, time and sales, and more. So, I look forward to that. It's going to be a really fun and action-packed month between Phase 1 and Phase 2 this week. So there's a lot to talk about coming up this week, folks, with all the education that we have. As a new trial member joining us, just make sure that you give a call to our office, and then from there, just speak with your education advisor. They'll be able to give you a walkthrough as far as how this trading room works, what it entails. As a new trial member, we would not suggest for you to risk any of your capital until you go through our education like our students. That is the phone number to our office inside the main chat board there. And then otherwise, folks, hey, coming up, going into the market open, I look forward to speaking to all of us here coming up. Talk to you soon.